Hey guys, my name's Luke Lippincott, and I'm a sports psychology master's candidate at John F. Kennedy University. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and you guys, my participants, thanks for coming out.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. Before we get started, I just want to let everyone know that there will be live shooting today. These three participants are trained professionals and elite marksmen and shooters, and our number one concern is going to be safety. Just to introduce you guys into what I've been doing for the last year and a half is I've been studying sports psychology. And a lot of people ask, what is sports psychology? So my simple way of answering that is, Tin, how much do you think of sports? What percentage do you think of sports is mental?
I would say a good 80%.
A good 80%, all right? So even if RJ, if you said 10%, and Tobias, you said 30%, that's 10, 30, and 80% that you can make yourself better at just by dealing with your mental game. So today, we're going to be focusing on focus and concentration. So let's get our blood flowing right now. You have a drill ready for me. I think it's called the move drill. So I'm going to have you guys demonstrate that drill, and then we'll talk a little bit after that.
All right. Sounds good. All right. You're ready.
Ready, ready,
Shoot.
run!
Move. Moving.
Run!
Out. Reloading.
Out!
Move.
Moving! Run!
Move.
Moving! Run!
Yes.
Clear!
Clear.
Awesome. That was cool. Thanks for demonstrating that for me. You guys can hear me okay. You can take off your ears if you can't. We're going to be talking for just a few minutes, and then we'll get into some more stuff. So there was a lot that went into that.
Yeah.
It sounded like there was a lot of calls that were going on. You guys had to shoot a target, and then you also had to kind of be aware of each other. And amidst all that, I'm sure there was tons of things going through your minds. So that's what we're going to be talking about today is focus and concentration. So I want to define what focus and concentration is, because to me, focus and concentration is it's the hallmark of all sports psychology. If you can't focus and you can't concentration, then you can't concentrate, you can't use imagery, you can't use self-talk, you can't set your goals right, you can't do anything. You have to be able to be focused, all right? So there's actually 4 different key aspects of being able to concentrate. But before I get into that, I want to kind of define concentration. So what concentration really is 3 different things. It's your attention, it's your concentration, and then lastly, it's focus. So check this out right here. What is this, Tobias?
It's a target.
It's a target. So I have Tobias's attention, okay? Tobias was able to look at this and concentrate on it and see that it's a target. Now what's that in the middle?
That's a bullseye. Centered on.
That's the bullseye. This is Tobias's focus, all right? So I have his attention to the target in the broad sense. He's concentrating now on the target, and his focal point is the bullseye. All right, so those are the 3 different aspects, actually, of concentration, the 3 different terms. Now, I want you to imagine your focus and concentration is like a flashlight, all right? And you can zoom in your flashlight and make it narrow, or you have a flashlight that can make it broad. So when we're looking over this landscape right now, we have a broad attentional span. We see everything that our eyes can see. When you're aiming down the sights of your gun, you're zeroing in, you're narrowing down that flashlight to a narrow attention and a narrow focus. So you're going broad to narrow. Now, in sports like football and basketball, those are open sports. You have to pay attention to tons and tons of different things at once, and you have to be able to switch back and forth. Sports like archery, some forms of shooting are closed sports. You really don't have a lot of distractions, kind of like golf. Like they make sure that no one's bugging them when they're about to hit the ball. Those are closed sports. Those are a lot more easier to block out all those external stimuli and focus and narrow in that focus. But with a closed sport, there's also the other side of the focus and concentration, which is internal. So you can have internal, broad focus, which would be kind of thinking to yourself about everything in general. That, like, I'm going to have to squeeze the trigger, I'm pointing my hands, my foot placement. And then you can have internal, narrow focus, which is just thinking about just the trigger squeeze, or which target am I aiming at? Am I aiming at just the bullseye? All right. So, as we just demonstrated with the shooting that we're doing today, even though it's a closed shooting and it's not like a sport like football, you still have to be aware of all your surroundings. When you're shooting together, you're making calls together. Tobias, I know that you've actually been in the field, and you always have to be aware of your surroundings. And that's what we're going to work on today, is being able to switch between our broad and narrow and internal and external, while still being able to focus in on that red bullseye, that red dot. Okay? Now, I'm sure you guys have heard before, how much of percentage of your brains do you use at one time?
It's not much.
10%. What I heard is 10%, all right? So I want you to imagine your brain is like a computer, okay? So if you have all these different programs open, each program is kind of going to be going slower, all right? So you can kind of look at your brain as a computer in the sense also as from broad to narrow and internal to external. The more that you focus on these internal thoughts, the less narrow focus of the bullseye that you will get, because the brain has limited capacity. Okay? Now here's the paradox about focus and concentration. The more that you try to focus and concentrate, the harder it is to focus and concentrate. All right? That's the paradox. The paradox is the more that you try to not think about the purple spotted elephant, what did you just think about?
Right. Spotted elephant. Yep.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
All right. So that's what we got to try and work on today. You can kind of look at it also from the point of view is you want everything to be automatic, and that's why what we do in sports psychology, in every sport you have practice. All right. So what we're going to be studying today, I really want you guys to take it home with you and practice it, because the more that you practice, the better that you get. Another example is an elite basketball player. He's dribbling down the basketball court and he sees everything going on. Do you think he's thinking about his dribbling? No. If he does start thinking about his dribbling, that's when his focus and attention leaves from the relevant stimuli that actually he needs to be thinking about. All right, guys, enough on the theories right now. Let's put this into action, and we're going to move the camera now over to our concentration grid. So, guys, just like we were talking about just now, you got to be, as a shooter, you got to be able to have a broad external awareness and then be able to narrow it in, all right? So this is a drill that we use with athletes, sports psychologists use with athletes, and mental skills trainers use with athletes. It's called the concentration grid. As you can see, there's numbers 00 through 99, and they're all randomly mixed across the board, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys 1 minute to hit as many consecutive numbers as you can. Now you might be trying to find 00 right now, but I'm going to give you the number to start with. So don't worry about that. All right, so you have 1 minute to hit as many numbers in consecutive as you can. So for example, number 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, in an order, going up, and then we're going to talk some more after that. Yeah, you guys got ammo. If you need to reload, you can reload.
How many rounds are you doing?
1 minute worth.
Shit. All right.
Get my eye protection on. All right, I'm going to say shooters ready, and then I will yell out the number that you're going to shoot, and then I'll yell shoot. All right?
And we go up from there, right? Yeah.
Shooters ready.
Ready? Ready.
Number 05, shoot. Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Now, if you guys can turn and face the, or just face me in the camera so we can kind of talk. Let's kind of, well, before we start that, let's tally up kind of what we did. And I forgot to tell you guys, it's okay if you miss, and you can go as long as you see the numbers. You don't have to hit them dead on. So RJ, how many did you hit? 10. How many were you able to find? And then Tobias, how many were you able to find?
I could find 4. I got up to 9.
Got to 9.
It took me a long time to find number 5.
Took you a long time to find the very first one?
Very first one, yeah.
Tobias, same thing?
Okay.
In the beginning, it kind of took you a while to find the first one.
Yep.
Now, I want to ask you guys some questions, kind of.
I want to get the second one.
So, how was it trying to scan the whole board, and then when you finally found the number, were you able to quickly zone in and dial in?
Yeah, as soon as I found it, I was able to go straight into it first, but I tried looking at it a few different ways. First, scan the whole board, then I just started going horizontally across. Still didn't see it. Then I went vertically, and I found it.
I did the same thing.
I did the same
Same thing.
Good point. So you guys kind of started to try and develop a plan
After the first one failed, yes.
after the first one failed. So at first you kind of just tried seeing the whole board as a whole, and then you kind of that wasn't working, so you started coming across.
Like you said in the beginning, I think we all found 00s until you said you were going to call the number.
Yeah. Now, were you guys internally in your mind? Were you guys kind of trying to pay attention? Were you, Tobias, possibly thinking about hearing RJ shoot or Tim? Were you thinking about?
I was,
Sure.
absolutely.
For sure. And then
I was.
I think these guys already shot, and I'm sitting there still couldn't find number 5. A little panic started setting in.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right there, that kind of gives you an idea of distractions,
Right.
which are the main things that take you away from your focus and concentration. So what distractions are they? They're just competing stimuli to what you actually need to focus in on.
Right.
So, for example, 10, you're trying to look for 05, and you notice that RJ's already shot 3 times.
Yeah.
That part of your memory that's thinking about, RJ's already shot 3 times, that 5% of your memory that takes is taken away from the 5% of your memory that takes to actually.
And one thing I noticed
Zone
too
in.
is that I actually hit 70 instead of 07.
Oh, okay.
But I think it was the panic.
Yeah.
You know, he's sitting there just pumping them off. I think he's already up to 100. And I'm like, oh, I need to hurry up here. So yeah, that was a very interesting drill.
See, the first one, when Toby shot, that's when I started setting into panic. After that, I tried to zone you guys out and just focus on the targets.
Okay, yeah. So what types of things did you do? I noticed, right, when you were talking, you said you went like this and you kind of took a breath.
I did? Oh.
So you said, I noticed that everyone else is shooting, and then and then you started shooting. So
Yeah.
that's the next thing that we're kind of going to talk about is how can we help with all these distractions that are going on. We got, the planes going in the background. If I'm shooting archery, you might not have all these external distractions, but there might be a bird that flies across 1 second, and that might be the difference between a bullseye or winning and not winning. So we have to be able, just like in the first drill, we have to be able to have selective attention. So you guys are ready to go, and you know the drill. You know that you're shooting twice. After you shoot, then your attention goes to a call, which would be move or threat or reloading. Then you're going back to the target, all right? So we have to be able to know exactly where we want to focus on. And you guys kind of started developing a plan, like you said. You started going line by line and being able to focus in more narrowly. And what this drill can do in drills like this is they can develop your broad external awareness. So you can get to the point like you wanted to in the beginning, where you're just looking at the board and you're being able to pick out the numbers and then zone in. So what are different types of distractions that might come up? Like in the first drill, we were doing a lot of things at once. What is that? Multitasking. All right. So I know, Tin, you and I have had discussions about this. There's a thing called a schema, and what that is it's a movement. All right, and we have a lot of different movements to be able to develop into larger schemas that would be a bunch of different movements combined in together. All right, and the whole goal behind these schemas is to make them automatic. So if I'm a baby, or if little babies, they might pick something up. All right, so they get really good at picking something up. Then they stop thinking about picking it up. They're thinking about bringing it to their face and what does it look like. All right. Then they're thinking about throwing it. Then that turns into a schema, and after time, it all becomes automatic. So that's what we want to try and get into. All right. Some other things that could be distracting you. RJ, what time did you get to bed last night?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. And how much sleep did you get?
Woke up at midnight.
Woke up at midnight. So what? 4 hours? 4 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
So rest, being able to recover, eating properly, these are all things that affect your body and affect your mind. I'm going to give you guys another example of how sports are just kind of created to make you deal with distractions. Think about the sport of golf, all right? At the very end of the day, your score is all of your shots added up together.
Right.
But when you're playing golf, how often do you know your score?
I'd imagine you wouldn't know it all the time.
Well, you know
Unless
it
you're the
after
keeper.
every hole. You know your
Right.
score of golf after every hole. So if you're one over, that would be bogey. If you're one under, that's a birdie.
Right.
And if you're right on, that's par. And these scores are calculated after every hole. So if I'm one under, all right, and I think I'm doing really good, or if I miss a shot and I do a bogey, all right, then that's in my mind, all right, that I just bogeyed. So I have to think to myself, oh, I got to make one up, and I got to get a birdie to make it up, even though I should just be focusing on my perfect swing, all right. And Tin, I've been out here before with you, and we've had some days that we were good, we were bad.
That's for sure.
And so, tell me about one of these bad times. What happened in the beginning?
It could be a number of things. A lot of things that'll just start off. It's maybe frustration getting the target set up. It doesn't go as smoothly as you planned. A limited time is another thing too that just gives you this pressure. You want to get out there and you want to hit the targets and dead on, and then call it a day. One of the big things with pressure too, especially when you get multiple people out here, is the first shot is everything. You miss that first shot, it kind of sets the mood. Now I'm thinking, oh crap, man, Toby just hit the bullseye. I hit the dirt out the back of the hill. All right, I need to refocus. And next thing you know, it's all about that. I'm hearing the shots go off, steel ringing, and I'm not ringing any of it. So I think that's a lot of what can just get you in that downhill spiral instead of focusing on the basics, what you should be doing. You know, your draws, trigger pull, hands equally out there. You know, and just focusing on it.
Right. Yeah. Tim, you're exactly right. And what you said was, one of the things that you said was that first shot. The first shot kind of sets the deal for the whole day. Now, the best athletes are the ones that are able to just be positive and have positive mental images about everything. And it doesn't matter to them if they miss or if they hit. What matters is being able to get better and learn from their experiences. And I think you told me that one time that one of the main elite shooters, Bob Latham, he doesn't call it a miss.
That's right.
He calls it a makeup. All right. So that's kind of the outlook that of what the best elite athletes have, is they have positive mental images and positive self-talk. Okay. So now we're going to work a little bit on how we can improve our focus and concentration. I talked enough about all the distractions that can go on. I'm sure you guys can think of a million different more. So now we're going to think of some things to help us with our focus and concentration. So the first thing that I just want to talk about is what I just said, being positive. All right? What's the main reason why you come out here?
Improve my shooting.
To improve.
To set my mood for the rest of the day or the week. Sometimes, you know, this is kind of my outlet.
Yeah.
And you know, it improved too. But I think a lot of it is it's a stress reliever for me, and I like to get out here with the guys and send some rounds down range.
I'm the same way as him.
So So you guys want to improve. You're competitive. You guys are athletes.
Yeah.
Is it fun?
Oh,
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
it's great time.
It's fun. All right.
It's a
So
stress relief.
So this is where athletes start getting the most distracted, is when they start worrying too much about their performance and the outcome and less about how fun something is.
I think
Okay.
That's a big caveat.
That's a nail
right
on the
there.
head right there.
Like you said, the first shot, if that doesn't go right,
Yeah.
oh man! I've been out many a days with these guys here, and you see moods change quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they're not hitting.
So the first and foremost thing to developing a good focus and concentration is enjoying yourself. And how you enjoy yourself is you have fun and you don't really worry too much about the outcomes. You guys hit the bullseye, show your emotion, have fun, that's good. But what's a good batting average for Major League Baseball players?
Oh man.
Don't have a clue.
300. So what that means is 7 out of 10 times they're getting out. All right? And
Right.
I don't know in your book, but in my book, that's failing almost all the time, right?
Right.
So focus on getting better and improving and having fun. That's the first thing to help you with your focus and concentration. All right? The second thing is breathing. A lot of times when I'm taking tests or I'm doing something that I haven't done a lot, talking on the phone to someone who I'm nervous about, a professor or something, I instantly realize that I'm not breathing, and I can't even really talk. And in the last year and a half, I've become more aware of my breathing when I'm talking and how important it is to breathe and being able to be aware of your breathing. So just start to try to be aware of your breathing and notice times throughout the day when you might be caught short of breath. It might be when you're hungry. It might be when you're upset, when you get in an argument with someone. Those are some of the times when my breathing gets really shallow. Another really important thing that I want to talk about, it's called your individualized zone of functioning. And now everyone is different. And how I can explain this to you is everyone works on a bell-shaped curve, a U, or an upside-down U. And what that means is if you're too pumped up, your performance is not going to be as great. If you're too calm and you're just in a comatose state, your performance is also not going to be that great. The upside down U, you got to be right in the middle of being pumped up and being calm. Now here's the thing. If I'm a professional weightlifter, my upside down U might be shifted a little bit this way because I want to get pumped up. All right, it's actually been proven that professional weightlifters when they do relaxation techniques with them, they lift less. So it's been proven that different different things for different people. You want to be more pumped up. Now, if I'm playing golf or if I'm playing chess or something, I probably don't want to be really pumped up. All right, I want to be able to be calm. So everyone has their. If I'm playing golf or if I'm playing chess or something, I probably don't want to be really pumped up. All right, I want to be able to be calm. So everyone has their own IZOF, individualized zone of function. And I know, Tobias, you and I have talked about this before, because you probably have more training and shooting experience than anyone that I know personally. I don't know that many people, but I can just assuming that you've been out in the field and you have a lot of experience. And like I said, when you think about things too much, that's when you lose your focus and concentration. So everyone has a different zone of functioning, and it's up to you guys to be able to find out if you need to be more pumped up or if you need to be relaxed, because when you're in that middle, that's when flow comes. And what flow is when the task at flow, the definition of flow is when the task at hand meets the exact standards of your capabilities. Okay? So when your capabilities are matched with the exact task, that's when people say, "Oh, I was into flow." Okay?
That's what I think we refer to in shooting as the sweet spot.
Sweet spot.
Right.
Sweet spot.
Yeah.
This fucker's trying to shoot my gun.
Okay. So, and as I was saying to Tobias, a self-focus, if you're too focused on yourself, that actually takes an athlete farther away from an automatic performance. All right? Just like a basketball player, an elite basketball player dribbling down the court, if they start thinking about the dribble, it takes away from the actual automated performance. All right? Now, here, this kind of ties into the whole scheme of everything. It's been proven that golfers, they did a study on golfers, and golfers were able to control, or they were able to improve their game by focusing on the club head rather than the straightness of their arm, the bend in their elbow, the twist of their hips, just focusing on the club head. So I once heard a long time ago from some Zen shooter, and he said, I'm pushing the bullet through the target. He didn't say, my grip is 100-100, I'm squeezing the trigger with this pad of my finger, the sights are lined up. He focused on the effect of everything. All right? So, for example, it would be not focusing on the pull of the finger, but focusing on the actual trigger moving straight back.
Right.
All right? So that's a kind of key thing to help you focus is not to focus necessarily on your body, but focus on the effect of what your body is making. So necessarily, it's the bullet going through the target. And I'm sure that elite shooters and marksmen, that's what they're focusing on, is pushing the bullet through the target, rather than all these different schemas that are tacked on together to create one whole automatic process. All right. So the last technique that I want to talk about is called centering. And I feel like this would be a really good technique for shooters because as much as we've said it is open and you guys can be moving together, most of the time it's a closed sport and you guys don't have that many external distractions and it's at your own pace. As in, I will say shooter ready and then you can say ready whenever you want and you'll be able to shoot. So centering, what centering is it's getting your body in a comfortable state and feeling your body get grounded into the ground. So I really want to feel my weight over my navel, which is the center of your center of mass, all right, and feel my weight sinking into the ground. And I want to focus exactly on the task at hand after I feel my weight centered perfectly in the ground, okay? So we're actually going to do one activity right now, and I'm going to kind of prove to you guys the effects of centering. So before we get started, I'm going to have each of you guys to get your feet about shoulder width apart. And I'm going to teach you guys how to center. So what you're going to do when you center is you want to feel your whole body, and you want to take a breath in through the nose, and then release it through the mouth. And I want you to clear your mind of everything and just focus in on this target. And as you do that, I want you to feel your weight sink down through your hips, perfectly balanced, and into the ground. All right? So you guys can do it on your own. I want you guys to center yourself. Feel your weight centered perfectly, center mass, and feel your body hold down into the ground. You guys can get a slight bend in your knees. And now, so basically centering should make it so I should be able to push on you guys, and you guys should be firm in the ground, all right? So now we're gonna do an activity kind of proof. Oh my God. What happened?
You had a battery?
Mm.
I'm gonna go check it. Let's put the other thing.
Well, this one's still going. Sorry, this one's still going, so we're good. We should be good. Hope we don't have to do it over.
No, that shit got really close.
Let me just press record on this.
That wasn't a shotgun, brother. That was a big fucking rifle.
I don't know how long that one was off for.
The shotgun, brother. That was a big fucking rifle.
I don't know how long that one was off for. But so we're gonna do our centering drill. So, Tin, I'm gonna have you come in the middle.
All right.
And just stand with both your feet together. You can face the camera.
Yep.
And then put your arms up here like this. And just be comfortable. And Tobias, you're on this side. RJ on this side. And I just want you guys to just lift Tin up off the ground. And Tin, just let him lift you up off the ground. Good. Now put him down. Now, I'm going to ask Tin, you're going to take your time, and I want you to get centered. All right? Plant yourself in the ground. Feel your center of gravity. Just focusing on the camera. And then I want RJ and Tobias to try and lift you up, and we're going to feel the difference. So, Tin, center yourself, and then whenever you're ready, you can let RJ and Tobias know, and they'll try and lift you up off the ground. Okay. All right. Was there a difference?
A little bit.
Yeah.
You felt the difference? Did you feel any different, Tin?
I felt heavier.
You felt
I
heavier.
felt heavier.
You felt heavier.
Yep.
So centering is an actual thing. It's actually possible to center your gravity and plant yourself in the ground and kind of absorb that power into the ground and focus in on just your body. Okay. So centering is a technique that athletes use right before the task at hand to kind of clear all their thoughts and focus in on their body and focusing on the task, okay? So that's a technique that we can use. We can also use breathing. Another technique that we can use is self-talk, all right? And as I mentioned in the beginning, the best technique to use is being positive, so positive self-talk and positive images. So for example, I'm gonna hit this bullseye, as opposed to, I don't wanna miss.
Right.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a minute. I'm gonna take a second to check out this camera to make sure we didn't miss too much. I'm gonna give you guys a minute to kind of come up with a strategy of how you want to go about. We're gonna do the concentration grid again. Think of some of the strategies that we just talked about for helping with your focus and concentration, and then we're gonna do the activity again. Okay, just like the first time, I'm gonna yell out shooters ready, and then I will yell a number and shoot. Shooters ready.
Ready?
34, shoot. How'd you guys do?
Considerably better.
Better? A lot
Same.
better?
Better. One less I hit, but I hit the 3 that I went for and I found.
You hit the actual, so you were able to, you hit the bullseye.
I hit the bullseye.
Nice.
But I didn't hit as many. Yeah, I didn't shoot as many. many rounds.
Now let's talk a little bit. Did you guys think about any? Did you guys use any of the thought stopping or self-talk or centering? It looks like you guys are kind of getting ready beforehand, centering yourself.
I definitely centered myself, and I came up with a plan, vertical left to right. I was going to find my numbers, and then I just tried to focus on my target, and not worried about the shots around me.
Okay, so you kind of blocked out all that external.
I tried.
Tried.
I
Yeah.
tried. I think it was successful.
I think my approach this time is actually grounding myself, and same as Tin, just blocking out, the other shooters shooting. And I started at a focal point. I started in the center, and I moved out.
Okay.
And from there, I don't know, it seemed to work for me. I set up a system. So it was definitely, this time around, definitely better shots and found quite a few more numbers.
Great. So we're going to wrap it up. I just want to kind of overview everything that we talked about today. So we talked about what focus and concentration really is, and there's 4 different terms that we should know: broad, bringing out to narrow, and then you have external and internal distractions. All right. So you can have other people shooting, which would be external distraction. You thinking in your mind, I'm going to hit or I'm going to miss. Internal distraction. Your broad view, you're seeing all the numbers at once. Then you have to narrow that in very quickly and focus on shooting. Now let me just ask you guys today, we've been talking all about all this focus and concentration. Do you feel like your shooting, since you've been trying to zone out external distractions and all these distractions, your shooting has been a little bit more automatic?
But yeah, I would say the flow was better.
Yeah.
So you're kind of thinking less about the aim and more about just trying to find the numbers and put it in play.
Yeah.
It was all about the number.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something to think about. And it looks like they're doing pretty good. So that's something to think about, is just to trust in yourself. And that's something that where athletes, I know you and I have talked about before, Tin, it's called the catastrophe cuss. And what that is just like I said, the inverted U. There comes a point when it's choking occurs. When you start thinking too much about what you're doing, that there's a complete and utter drop-off of performance. All right? So that kind of just gives testament to athletes. A lot of athletes, they do a lot better when they're younger than when they get older, and that's because they're actually thinking too much. So the more that you guys make it automatic and push the bullet through and just focus on the bullet just going to the target and less about all these little things going on, the better you guys will actually get. Now, I'm not trying to say don't ever think about your trigger pull and don't ever, look at the outcome and say, like, I'm mashing or going which way or this way or that way. But just trust in your body and trust what you can do, because you guys are elite shooters and you've been doing it long enough that now you should just be more focused on being able to really zone in and focus in on the focal point of the target. So as I said in the beginning, like everything that we do in life, really, practice makes perfect. So it's up to you guys to kind of experiment yourselves, find your IZOF, find the individual zone of functioning. It changes on day to day, but it should be in the same area. All right, it changes with the tasks that you're doing. Like I said, if you're lifting weights compared to if you're playing golf. But everyone's different, and you guys have to kind of experiment to find that. But when you do find that, that's when flow happens. All right. So I want to thank you guys for coming out and being participants in my video. Thank you guys for watching. My name's Luke Lippincott, and this was my presentation on focus and concentration.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.